Another week, another cliffhanger of Parasyte The Maxim. But I gotta say that this episode was absolutely beautiful, meaningful, and at the same time gives you yet again another perspective on things and just everything that is going on in the series. The series is just honestly a deep series. It really has a lot of depth to it. So when you're getting a death, it's not only just a death, it has way more meaning to it and is way more impactful because of it, because it just kind of gets a little philosophical at the same time. Like when Tamara gave her perspective on things where she felt as though the parasites are being bullied by humanity, I was like, wow. Like at first you would think that's insane. You guys are fucking slaughtering us, your creatures, what's going on? But then if you kind of look at it a little bit more, kind of like, well, what's the difference between what we do to, animals? I mean, don't get me wrong, the parasites don't need to eat us, and we can coincide with them, we can be one, but yeah, I mean, we do this to animals all the time or whatever, and I don't know, it felt very just deep. Honestly, the best way I could put it, it felt just really deep, and the way she went out and everything, it was just like, this is the best. You're not going to get more character development, realistic character development, and just overall quality as far as characters changing and becoming where you want them to be and where they need to be, and just the way it's done. The execution, I think, is the most important thing, and I gotta praise this episode because, for starters, the OSTs, I mean, just about everything. Tamara's voice actress nailed it. She nailed it. The quietness with the soft and sad OST in the background as she's taking bullets on some fucking Terminator Van Damme shit while still holding the baby. That was amazing. So for starters, I didn't really know what to expect with the confrontation between Shinichi and Tamara. I didn't know if they were going to go at each other's throats. I didn't know what was built up at that particular point, because there was some animosity, there was some, I guess underlining, we need to settle this shit right now, and the inspectors being thrown in there definitely threw it for a curveball, because if they didn't show up, I don't know, maybe they would have went, blow for blow right there, but the fact that the inspectors showed up, I guess in the eyes of adversity, people that might be enemies or might be on opposite sides of the, battlefield will ultimately come together. And I think that that's what ultimately happened. I mean, at the end of the day, Shinichi didn't necessarily do anything, which, I mean, what the fuck is he going to do at that particular point? But just when she turned into his mother and she did all those things, I really wish one of the things that we would have gotten in this episode that we didn't get is more of Migi's perspective, because all we got is him being shocked. Like, she said thank you, and she wanted you to protect this baby, and she could have escaped, but she'd rather have died protecting this baby. I would love to get Migi's perspective, like, can we actually change? Can we become like humanity? Is there more to us than meets the eye? And when she was talking about being bullies as well, like, that was the one thing that I would have loved to got in this episode. And I think we'll get it at some given point. I think that it's being saved for the end to finally get Migi's perspective, his development and everything regarding just humanity and parasites and just how they can coexist with one another. Because when he was saying that, you could tell that he's like, holy shit, like, this is something totally different than what I expected. And I think that Migi at this particular point, maybe he couldn't give his perspective because he's still gathering it all in and still fighting himself. I mean, at the end of the day, to this point, he's still fronting like, oh yeah, man, I'll kill a human, I don't give a fuck. But in reality, there's change within Migi as well, and I think he's scared of that. I think he's scared in a way of losing who he is as a parasite. And when he sees, like with Tamara, maybe it gave him a little bit of courage. Maybe at some given point, he will do the same thing. I don't know. But I definitely got to say that the first half of this episode, maybe a little bit more, was just absolutely impactful. And it led up to something interesting later on down the episode, but just everything with Tamara, the music, the animation, the art. Well, the animation wasn't the most amazing, but it was really good, and the art was pretty good as well. It was just good shit, honestly. Overall, very good storytelling. Also, a little bit of foreshadowing and setup when she was going to say something about the mayor or governor guy, whatever. She didn't get to finish, so there's something up with that as well. Just a little bit of a key cliff note there to add. And honestly, just seeing Shinichi cry again, it just throws another twist, because up to this point, we've just seen him constantly go darker and darker, all the emotions being ripped out of him, and to see him actually cry, and kind of what that fortune teller had said beforehand, kind of being a little precursor to this event as well. You need to see the person that opened up your heart. Tamara doing that was just overall these human emotions that went into her. She knew this is a good person that can bridge the gap with humanity and parasites, and maybe one day change things. He deserved something. And I don't know if that was just necessarily her trying to say, please save this baby for me, or what it was, but ultimately it just really was impactful. And yet again, the never-ending changes. And I think that while ideally like once you see somebody going down this dark path, you would think that they would just continue going, down it, and if they were to change, it would probably be at the end. But I think humanity in general, in real life as well, we're unpredictable. Things change all the time. Sometimes we just keep going into a dark place until we finally see the light, and then maybe we might go dark again, who knows. But I think that that's what separates Parasyte as well. It's not just like a structure of like, this is the story, he's gonna keep going dark, and then at the end change. No, he might change again. Next episode, the tears might go away again, and that's just this unpredictable change that is constantly happening, because at the end of the day, we don't even know biologically what the fuck's going on with Shinichi as well. Also, to note, Murano seeing all that, she's seeing the tears, maybe she'll stop asking questions, and I think that this will help their relationship as well. So kind of a little bit of progression on that, her complaining and crying side, which again is understandable, a lot of the crying, complaining that she did. I mean, her boyfriend completely changed on her, but I think this will probably mend that as well, and we won't get as much of the annoying Murano shit anymore. And I ain't even gonna lie, the highlight of hilarity of this episode, because like, you have the emotional, just like, holy fuck, shed a tear moment, and then you have the, oh my god, this is fucking hilarious, when the dude started jacking off to the girl. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Parasyte, you're gonna make me cry one minute, you're gonna make me die laughing the next minute. Fucking... And then, of course, yet again, a cliffhanger. Parasyte loves to do that at the end, where the dude seemingly is onto Shinichi. While on one hand it looks like he might give the inspectors something, I don't think they're gonna completely get everything from this guy. Maybe he might not want to give them what they want or something, because I think at the same time it will kind of fuck with the dying mission that one inspector had, that one detective, where he was basically like trying to hide Shinichi's identity. I think at the very end his efforts should not go in vain, and like this guy, uncovers everything to give the inspectors, yeah, this guy, there's something off with him. I think maybe he could give them a small hint, but then at the end say, oh, no, he's normal or something. Maybe he can talk to Shinichi mentally or something like that, and Shinichi tells him, yo, I'm a decent person, can you like fuck off or something? So it could go that route as well, but I just ideally would like, at this particular point anyway, for his secret identity to stay intact, because that would kind of ruin the dying mission of that, detective and everything that he stood for in the end. And with all that being said, to be honest with you, I felt this was a perfect episode. I felt everything that it did, it accomplished. It did the best of the best of comedy, the best of the best of, bringing them feels, the best of the best with character development, as always. And it was just beautiful. OSTs, voice acting. I'm giving this one 10 out of 10. I really don't care. I felt that this was deserving of it. It just hit so many bullet points, and at the same time just went a little bit philosophical and a little bit more deep with it. And I always appreciate that. But let me know what you thought of this episode. How did you feel about the death of Tamura Reiko? How did you feel about that development? Do you think that all the Parasytes, if given the right route, could go that way and change and become more human-like? And what do you think would be Migi's perspective at this particular point? Do you think that he completely believes that really humanity and Parasytes can coincide with one another, coexist, and live like that? Or is he still on that fronting mode? And will Murano continue to nag, or will she finally get off the sack? And just your overall thoughts of the episode. Great, absolutely amazing episode of Parasyte. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you can do so as well, that'd be amazing. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.